one of my big questions for the artist in residence thing is kind of where is your creative space and how is it that you maintain it? I mean, as a parent, this is one of those things: is how do you find the space to be creative, and where is it
Yeah.
that you literally do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some great questions tonight, and this one included. I've just recently moved house and got this place, and for the first time, I have a semblance of my own workspace. I never really have, and some people really prioritize that, and I guess I didn't. And I became very used to kind of tuttering away with stuff on couches and into beds, and have never was never drawn to having a studio or my own kind of recording area. I very much like the feeling of working with pen and paper and a guitar and the modern dictaphone, the iPhone. And anything beyond that, I start feeling a bit queasy about it. To this day, I have bought some gear, here and there, and I bought a nice microphone, and I just noticed that it doesn't give me any joy to set them up or to play with them. And so I just keep on returning to this kind of minimal work setup, and because I'm a single dad, I have there are times when my house is perfectly quiet, and those are the times when I will really kind of zone into something. And then there's other times when I just kind of work and life just goes on around me, and I might sit on the couch or what have you. And yeah, I mean, that certainly has its drawbacks and maybe benefits are harder to explain or harder to even I'm not even sure if I know what they are. It's just how I've done things, and I've given it thought, like what's a good workspace, what would be ideal. But I think I like having just a little bit of life around me sometimes, and I like it when it's quiet. I've kind of like working in both those settings. Yeah, that's quite a ponderous question for me. Yeah, and it's so I'm in my little sort of downstairs office now, but interestingly, it's one that doesn't have a door, so I can still hear if there's stuff going on upstairs. That's connected to the stairs, and it doesn't really bother me. I was helping my friend Lewis McCallum move house today, and he I noticed he's got a somewhat similar approach as because they're a little bit younger than mine. And maybe there's a desire to kind of be connected, but also to be working. To be connected to your kids and also to be working, which is it's a strange approach, a difficult approach, but at the same time I quite like it. And recently I've had my youngest Valentine kind of come down sometimes, and he'll start picking out a riff that I'm working on the keyboard and play along with me, and I love that.
I think I've seen some footage. Is that on YouTube or?
Yeah, I've posted some on Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested. What is in terms of what artists are you interested in now? Like what are the things that give you goosebumps do you still get goosebumps?
Yeah, I love discovery, right? I love discovering sort of things that are off the beaten track, or that particularly things that are local. So the last thing that I think that really gave me goosebumps was seeing Locksman Foo's band. They're called the Filthy Junk Traders. It's Locksman is the son of Schaefer and the grandson of Tingy Lau Ness. So he's Auckland music royalty.
That's it.
And I just loved their mashup of styles, and and they were doing like kind of Ellington style, big band style horns, 5-piece horn section, 5-piece saxophone section, with trap beats and rapping that was like really grounded in local stories.
Is that the guy? Because I saw that at the quad the other day.
So yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. It's fabulous, and they're still kind of undiscovered. They're still, they're not playing to huge audiences yet.
But they should.
And I saw them at absolutely. I saw them at CJC a year or two ago, Creative Jazz Club in Auckland, and it was just joyous. It was really joyful music, exuberant, and I loved it. Yeah, so that's inspired me greatly, and it's often been those kind of things. When you ask me about my guitar sort of heroes, like in my late teens, seeing people like Joel Haynes and Lance Sewer and Martin Winch, any of those guys, Alan Cornell, any of those people up close, I was just all over it. I just loved it. Loved seeing it. Loved studying their sort of how their personalities kind of flowed through their instrument, how they dress, sort of the moustache or whatever they're into, and just kind of it just fascinated me that sort of these expressionful characters. That's Joel Haynes with his long hair, slumped over his forward over his Les Paul, and still in a kind of a jazz club. It was
yeah, he always looked like he was at the wrong gig.
No, I mean, for me, he looked like he was having exactly the right gig.
I was like, oh wow, okay, cool. Oh, that's funny. But I was just because we haven't really sort of touched on specifically like the last time I saw you in person was at the 25th reunion of New Loungehead.
Oh, Loungehead reunion, yeah.
I mean, and that was a long time coming, and there was a lot of I mean, I've tried to believe I'm booking gigs and unbooking gigs and rebooking gigs, and what was that like? What did that feel like?
The first half an hour of the first night, because we did 2 nights. The first half an hour of the first night, I wanted to run away and go home. Because it actually felt unfamiliar, even being on a stage and having sort of lights shining in my eyes, and the noise and the Sturm and Drang of it all. And and at one point, Isaac, an amazing drummer, he said to me, "Talk to the audience, Dan." I hadn't at all in the first half hour.
Wow.
And so I was really like kind of went and hid inside myself. Like I could play the notes and that was all right, but and then I sort of somehow felt that those connections reconnect, and started really enjoying it. And then after that show that night, I was talking to Chip, our bass player, who I adore. I mean, wonderful man, and he can be a man of few words. He's not a hugely garrulous type necessarily. And we were talking about the gig, and he said, "Oh, you know what you should do tonight, Danny, he calls me Danny. It's my nickname. For, some people use. And he said, I remember back in the day we used to play like those clubs like Herzog, and we just blow the roof off the place. Tomorrow night you should have a hoon.
Yeah.
Oh, are you still there? Yeah. He said, have a hoon. And I was like, maybe I will.
And hoon you did, because I was at the second good night.
So. Yeah, I had a hoon thanks to the blessing of the Venerable Chip Matthews. I had a hoon, and since then I've wondered, what other areas of life I can have a hoon in, and I think that's the beauty of any kind of passionate pursuit in life, is that we can transfer the things that we enjoy and the things that we learn from that passion and into other areas. And so every now and then I'm doing something. Maybe it's cooking, or maybe it's maybe I'm on a date, or who knows. And I have Chip Yoda in my ear going, have a hoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I particularly that second show, but I really loved playing both of those shows. It really awakened that sense of possibility for me to play with those guys as such amazing musicians. And
is Isaac still in New Zealand?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Because I mean, I remember coming to some of your first gig, and I was like, "What? Someone's playing drum and bass on a kit?" I mean, now it's not necessarily really strange to see that, but like I think in 1997 it was, what? It was amazing.
Yeah, and there are still things about his approach that I haven't really heard done elsewhere. The sort of the wins and hows of it, and the physicality of it, and the commitment. Yeah.
So what's your next projects coming up, and maybe you can kind of interlink this with this other question, so we can kind of finish in 5 minutes or so, about what are you feeling optimistic in the future in terms of your art, and why should artists feel optimistic now?
I don't know. I think it's a tall order to encourage anyone to be optimistic. I think if you can manage optimism, I think in yourself, that's probably enough. That's huge. Recently, I've found myself saying this to a number of people. I feel like music can be like heart surgery. And I think that music, when made with care and skill, it is such a powerful kind of medicine. And I felt that night, particularly at the Loungehead gig, that people come and they've got burdens and that they bring, and they put those on the table for you to operate on for the hour and a half or whatever that you've got them. And I feel like my responsibility to people is the same as a surgeon's. I want them to leave feeling lighter, feeling healthier, feeling lighter of spirit. And and that idea fills me with optimism and really keeps me going. This idea that you can just enormously shift somebody's perspective. But they don't have to be miserable coming in. They might be already happy, and then you can add to that joy. Or conversely, they might be miserable, and it might enable them to feel their misery more deeply and be able to move through it. Because it's just sort of opening up and connecting with different. I don't know how to describe it, but
I'm sure there's bands that have like a trigger warning.
Sorry?
I'm sure there's bands that have like trigger warnings, in terms of like giving people just trauma, a jungle. It's just like, oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, you know, they all. I guess we all have our different roles and parts to play, and everybody's sort of style is going to be different. And there, of course, it veers away from perhaps how, you know, the medical system operates.
That's it.
We have more freedom, but you know, then it's the Spider-Man thing, isn't it? You know, I mean, it's power, but you know, it's using that freedom or that power responsibly, isn't it?
That's right.
And it doesn't matter if you're making death metal or if you're making shoegaze or easy listening. You still have that. There's a potential to radically shift somebody's outlook.
Well, if you do it well, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you do it with finesse, that's right.
That's it.
You do it with finesse. So I think that's a wonderful motivator.
Well, good. Now, I'm going to ask you the worst possible question, which is what's the next creative project, and when is it coming out? And
yeah, I mean, these days I'm hesitant to even kind of think about anything finished. I just like. I just enjoy the process so much, but there have been a couple of things that I've been doing, and one of them is working with Lewis McCallum, who I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Other than helping him shift his house, we were working on a track together, and cool. It was kind of had a house music sort of feel to it, and I found myself. I sent him a song or a sort of a chord, a very simple chord progression and some instrumental parts and on the guitar, and he made this whole kind of looped housey feel saxophone thing around it. Mm-hmm. And then after much sort of working with it at home with my tiny tools, I discovered that I could add some lyrics that I had from another song and sort of became this other song, and as well as these sort of harking back to another instrumental that I'd made, and so it kind of encompasses all of those things. And I really liked working in that mode because the song is the lyrics are intrinsically very sad, and it was lovely to work in this mode that's really far away from the kind of lonely, sad singer-songwriting mode, and to be sort of in this kind of quite almost has an African sort of flavour with the house beat and that so I really enjoyed that, and I think we'll do we'll see something might come with that.
We don't know when this is going to come out into the public world yet.
No, who knows? Eventually, and then also I've joined my first ever covers. My second ever covers band, if you count the one I was on TV for a little while doing interstitials into the commercials. Mm-hmm. Doing Leonard Cohen tribute. It's a group called Imperfect Offering, mm-hmm. and they do. It's not a sound-alike Leonard thing. Thankfully, I think that would be ghastly to try and impersonate the master. Mm-hmm. But it's an entire set of his songs, and their brief has been to be myself, and that to bring myself to that context rather than sort of trying to also impersonate sort of Javier Mas or one of these amazing Leonard accompanists. Thankfully, also because that's a tall order. So that, and we've got some shows coming up, some live shows coming up with them in October. For starting in October, sort of in the North Island and things. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Is that Dylan Story doing that or something? Like it feels like
no. The guitarist I replaced was a fellow called Ryan. I'm not sure what his last name is, but so I think it's a long Dutch kind of name. And so it's a 9-piece group, so that's pretty neat. Gives me an opportunity to further study Lennon's music, which I'm very much enjoying.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there are those two projects, and I also have a project in the wind, which is around songwriting, encouraging young people to write songs. So it's something I'm working on and looking to launch next year is to just to create opportunities for people, perhaps pre-high school, and I'm careful to use the sort of words like language like create opportunities, because I'm skeptical that you can really teach songwriting as such, but you can certainly provide opportunities for it and kind of space and encouragement and those kind of things. So
which is kind of what these little kind of interviews are sort of about, is like, you know, just how do you make it happen at home. And
and for some, you know, that's an incredible luxury. Like look at how you know the quiet in your house is an incredible luxury. Same with mine. Some houses are more crowded, some houses are too cold, some houses are you know, for whatever reason, or might have a sterile or emotionally toxic environment, or what have you. So I guess, you know, I like the idea that there are creative spaces for everybody is something I'm interested in. Yeah,
that's cool. Now, it's been really cool talking to you tonight, and it's just great to have another yarn with you, because I just have
been a little while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I have some great memories of us having jams, sitting on the bonnets of our cars.
At our kids' football practice. Yeah, I learned so much from you on those. Those were my
me too.
My little. I saw. You know, those were free guitar lessons for me. That was amazing.
That was great fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. I remember you showing me things about inversions and sort of counterpoint and those kind of things. And all really cool, inspiring stuff.
That was real cool for me, man. I actually, as we were talking, I just remembered. This is probably a yes or no answer, and then I think we're done. I just was thinking, and it'll hopefully go back to.
I applaud your optimism here.
Yeah. My question is: have you ever written a song in your mother tongue?
German. Yeah. I've written some lyrics, and I have sung them. But probably only like sketches. You're not the first person to ask me that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's something I need to give some thought, even possibly some action.
It just popped into my mind when you said that you and Lewis were running a house beat. I was like, I wonder. Not to be stereotypical, but maybe a great market for that. Yeah.
Yes, true. I think that there's certainly a Teutonic aspect, or you know, there's a German approach somehow in my delivery anyway when I sing in English. It's there are other German groups that sing in English and that I can think of. That Scorpions, I love the Scorpions.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, I got that. Yeah. The Winds of Change. Winds of Change. They did that song.
The Winds of Change. Yeah.
It's a great whistling.
There's something very precise about their placement.
That's it. Oh, that's great to hear. I'm looking forward to hear your maybe you could do like a you know how like David Bowie and Peter Gabriel did like German albums.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, Tristan. Is to actually, rather than kind of try and write in German, because my written German is actually like a 7-year-old's.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't know if I'm up to the task, but I could certainly, with help, have it translated and carry the pronunciation and
do a German version.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I'm down.
Awesome. Oh, thanks so much. I'm looking forward to hearing about this songwriting project as well once it comes out, and I'll I'll pop it here on the YouTube link once it comes up. So if any of
I
your
mean, I can
audience,
hear some fellas upstairs wanting their dinner.
yeah, man.
All right, my bro. That was lovely.
I'll catch you soon.
Take care.
Cool. That was really lovely catching up with Dan again, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about another artist in residence. And yeah, any comments or thoughts down here? It's wonderful, and yeah, hope to share the next one.